Hello traders and crypto enthusiasts, Patrick Maldonado here, cryptocurrency trader and creator of TCE Trading. So in today's episode I would like to talk about Bitcoin's parabolic cycle and why you should and should not invest in Bitcoin. Hopefully after this episode you will be more informed about Bitcoin's price action and decide whether this is the right investment for you. Looking for more information about cryptocurrencies, head to my blog at tcetrading.com for more written content. Sign up for my newsletter for notifications and special offers. So hello everyone, thank you again for joining me in this podcast episode. We're still talking about crypto, you probably heard it in the news. It's a big topic right now, and the reason I want to focus on it is because a lot of people are not educated enough to know what it is, what it does, how it looks like. They just hear that Bitcoin is going up and hear a lot of people, oh yeah, I have this amount of gains, I'm doing so much money, making so much money, and and they just want to join in without really knowing why. So this is why I'm focusing on crypto right now, and of course I'll be talking more about the price actions, about my thoughts, but I still want to explain a little bit of the behavior, a little bit of the properties, so that you can really start understanding a little bit more how Bitcoin behaves and if this is the right investment for you. Now, depending on how old you are, you might see Bitcoin different, and you might even call it with different names. If you are a boomer, you might look at it kind of like the millennial casino. And if you are a millennial or a zoomer, you might potentially see it as the next financial revolution. So it depends on how acquainted with technology you are, and potentially how old are you, It doesn't mean that, if you are old, you won't like to invest in Bitcoin, because I know for a fact a lot of people that are very old and they are indeed investing, or they're very interested in cryptocurrencies, and that's very good. In any case, let's talk about some facts, because Bitcoin is a highly speculative and volatile asset, and I've already talked about this before, and again I bring it up because it's very important, and it's most important for people who are just investing because they want their investments to continue growing, right? So they really need to understand that because it's highly speculative, there's a lot of volatility involved. So before talking about the reasons to buy or not buy Bitcoin, I want to talk about its parabolic cycle so you can understand a bit more. If it's only a tiny bit, it doesn't matter, a bit more about how Bitcoin can behave. And please remember, and I really want to emphasize this, that this is not financial advice of any kind, and you should do your own due diligence before investing in any asset. You are responsible for your own money, so do not throw it away before doing some good research. Because I've seen it, guys. I've seen people that they don't know what Bitcoin is and they just buy it. I've seen so many comments, even currently, that the price went to 19,500 and it is currently retracing about 10-15% to the downside. And I saw a lot of messages of people saying, hey, I'm very glad that I bought at 19,000. So this is something that happens, right? So do your research before investing. Now, let's talk a little bit about the Bitcoin's parabolic cycles. So throughout its history, Bitcoin has seen parabolic bull runs where the price rises exponentially due to euphoria and FOMO. And if you don't know what FOMO is, I will repeat it again. FOMO is fear of missing out. So because people are just scared that they're gonna miss on the gains, they lose control and they start buying it despite of the price. Even if the price is 19,000 and that there was a current top before at 20,000, they keep buying. They don't care. They are scared that the price is gonna break that level and it's gonna go to $100,000, and then they're gonna miss it. And this is gonna be the same in any way, right? Even if the price goes all the way to 100K, people are gonna be FOMOing at 90K, at 99K, thinking that, oh, Bitcoin is gonna go to 200,000, right? And this is just the way it is. People are very exuberant and people tend to have FOMO, and that's why these parabolic runs happen. Now, the most notably parabolic bull run, of course, was in 2017 when Bitcoin soared almost 2,000%. Can you imagine? Almost 20 times your money if you would have invested at the beginning of the year. That's just crazy. There's nothing in this era, there's no investment that would give you that amount of percentage. And this, of course, was from the beginning of the year to its all-time highs at near 20,000. So from the lowest part to the highest part. Now, please understand that trading conditions were very, very different back then, since there were no future contracts, thus there was no way to profit if Bitcoin's price fell. So there was no incentive to really sell. Right now, because of the Bitcoin future contracts, now if you short the price, you can earn. There's a lot of people that are making a lot of money when the price of Bitcoin corrects, or they're hedging their assets, meaning that they are shorting so that their overall amount of money or their overall wealth stays the same even if the price goes down. So the next significant parabolic rise happened in 2019, where Bitcoin's price action went up about 300% in less than 6 months. And again, 300% is a lot. Imagine tripling your money in less than 6 months. Again, there's no investment out there that's gonna do this for you. In any case, the last parabolic bull trend, which commenced around September 2020, and it's the one that we're currently in, depending on when you hear this, but it's about the end of November when this is being recorded. In any case, it's worth highlighting that from the pandemic bottom, the worst of the market conditions when the pandemic started in 2020, all the way to its current high, Bitcoin went up about 400%. Again, making your money like 4 times, quadrupling your money is, it's just crazy. Of course, this is in consideration if you were to buy at the lowest bottom and you were to sell at the peak, which is, probably not very feasible, and probably not a lot of people really did that successfully. In any case, while all of these numbers sound astounding and even hard to believe, it is important to highlight the corrections that happen after those parabolic rises, right? You need to understand, okay, if this can make you a lot of money, well, then what are the downsides in terms of price actions? Well, in 2017, we saw a correction throughout 2018 of almost 85% of its value. 85%. So from around $20,000 that Bitcoin was valued all the way to merely 3,000 approximately. So this is a lot, imagine, and there were a lot of people that were, selling their houses, or they were taking loans and they were FOMOing at those prices. Imagine losing that percentage of your capital. And just before people start saying, probably if you're new, you won't be thinking like this, but a lot of people that, are overexuberant and they are irrational to a great extent, they will say, yeah, but if you don't sell, if you just hodl, which is hodl on for dear life, that's kind of like the acronym that people are using. If you hodl and you just don't sell, well, you won't make those losses. Yeah, any person that's financially educated will tell you otherwise, because if you have a loss or an unrealized loss, which means that it's a floating loss, you still have a loss, just the same as if you have an unrealized profit, you still have a profit, because it would be the same me saying, oh yeah, if you're in profit, why would you consider those profits if you haven't sold, if you have not actually taken them, right? And this is the same for losses, so in any case, what I'm trying to say is that if you have unrealized profits, there are still profits. If you have unrealized losses, there are still losses. If Bitcoin goes down, maybe you're not closing that position, but you still have the loss at that particular moment in time. So I just wanted to point it out before continuing. But in any case, 2019 saw a correction of almost 70% from its peak, and this is 70 from its peak all the way to the pandemic bottom. Which is a lot. imagine just buying and being FOMOing at the top and then kind of losing 70%. Yes, still you can hold, but you will feel that hit, I promise you. At the very least. That in any case, this last correction, I mean, talking about that last parabolic bull run that is still happening, it's yet to be seen. At the time I'm recording this, the price has corrected about 10-15% to 16,000 more or less. But again, please bear in mind that corrections of 30% are very normal, and even during 2017 there were multiple corrections of like 30%, even 40% to the downside. This is very normal in Bitcoin, and thus it's very normal if the price right now corrected like 30% or even more. That's just the cycles. And again, this is what I wanted to explain, that parabolic cycles, that there's a lot of FOMO, a lot of euphoria, Bitcoin goes up and then it corrects in a very dramatic way. In any case, with all of this, I just wanted to highlight that Bitcoin might be a very good investment opportunity, but it can be devastated for weak hands. If you're not able to really stomach the risk of, at the very least, 30% of your capital, then Bitcoin is probably not for you. In any case, just before finishing this episode, what I wanted to give you is kind of like a list of reasons to buy and reasons not to buy Bitcoin. So reasons to buy, first of all, we've already talked about it, very important property, scarcity. If an asset is scarce, it can really drive the price up just because a lack of supply. So bear in mind, we already talked about that. You still need a lot of demand. You still need real demand with that low supply, but still it's a good reason to buy an asset. High potential return, I mean, we've already seen it. Of course those huge percentages are gonna be decreasing the more Bitcoin goes up, but still there's high potential return. Potential of becoming a true safe haven asset similar to gold is also on the cards. A lot of people are looking at Bitcoin as the alternative of traditional finance or the traditional economy, and they are saying that if something goes wrong, then you can invest in Bitcoin and your wealth is gonna be preserved, just similar to gold. And that's a very important property that might happen. If people kind of like arrive to this consensus, that might be a thing in the future. Again, potential of increased adoption over time. There is not a lot of people that have Bitcoin. There's not a lot of people that are into Bitcoin. There's more and more adoption. We saw with PayPal news and so on. So there's a true potential for people to start adopting Bitcoin, and this means that there's more people that are gonna be buying Bitcoin. So that's a good reason to potentially invest. Now, reasons not to buy. It's a very highly speculative asset, okay? A lot of people, and I've already said it, a lot of people tend to buy Bitcoin just for the gains. And the problem with this is that it makes Bitcoin very volatile. So if you're not able to stomach at the very least 30% drawdowns, or potentially losing that, then this might not be for you. Another thing is that Bitcoin is still very unregulated, and this is a problem because regulations can really hamper its growth. It just takes a few legislations for saying, you can't use Bitcoin for these reasons, or you have to do this procedure before buying crypto, or there's this very niche special taxation form of 40%, 50% tax. I don't know, no one really knows. This is why it's a problem. There's uncertainty on this regard, and thus it can be, potentially difficult to see, okay, should I really buy or should I really not invest in it? In any case, traders and listeners, I hope that you enjoyed this episode of the TCE Trading Podcast. Bitcoin can be very profitable, but due to its volatility, it can also be very risky. Please be sure to understand what it is and how the price action might behave before investing in it. If you're interested in learning how to trade, be sure to check out my webpage at www.tctrading.com. Thank you very much for listening, and I will see you in the next episode. Take care.